giant water bottle.
Please, Tirth, don't talk during the theme song. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Recreational Science, the podcast where we explore creativity in science by examining some of the funniest, wackiest, and most provocative studies ever done. I'm Lou.
And I'm Tirth.
Listeners, please join us on a journey to explore scientific innovation. It's a journey that's innovative and boundless. Yeah. I think I said innovative twice.
I think that's okay. I think it's boundless, but this is the part that counts.
Yeah. So, it's 3 episodes in. I've committed myself to coming up with a new introduction on the spot every episode. And really, there's only so many combinations of the words science, innovation, boundless, and exploration. So eventually, we're going to have to come up with something new.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe next episode you can take over the introduction.
Okay. I'll try. Maybe I can use some variant like unbounded.
Oh.
Bound free.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Save it for the next episode.
Okay. I don't want to shoot my shot right now.
Yeah. Exactly. Cheers. So I have a story that I want to tell you.
Okay.
This happened to me recently.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, the first part of it happened to me many months ago.
Okay.
And I'll start there.
Okay.
And I really want your opinion on this. I want to know what you think.
Happy to.
Because it's an interesting issue.
Okay.
So many months ago, like summer of last year, I was riding my bike to work, as I do, because I'm a very environmentally conscious person. I recycle. I drive an electric car, and it's a 5-mile ride. Got to my lab. Was parking my bike by the bike racks behind some bushes. 5-mile ride, wasn't out of breath at all. Very fit person.
Impressive.
But as I looked up, suddenly this guy approached me, sort of out of nowhere. Now, I don't want to say he was hiding behind the bushes by the bike racks, but at least part of him was covered by the bushes, which is why I didn't see him at first. But he seemed like a friendly enough guy.
Okay.
He was holding a phone, and he came up to me. He was like, hey, friend, I just got this new phone. Seemed like a real phone. He was like, hey, but I don't know if it's working or not. Can you give me a text or call? And I was like, yeah, okay. Because again, I'm a nice guy.
Yes.
I recycle. I drive an electric car. I was like, sure, yeah. So he gave me his number, and I texted it, and nothing. He didn't get it. Okay. So then he was like, I guess the phone isn't working, but can you send me a WhatsApp? So I sent him a WhatsApp, and he actually got that. So we're both very happy. But by this time, I had to run up to lab because I had an experimental time point.
Of course, science. Can't wait.
So I went up to lab. About an hour went by. When I checked my phone, I got a WhatsApp message from him. I just said, hey, man, thanks again for sending me this WhatsApp.
Okay.
So I replied, yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Again, very nice guy.
Yeah, very
I'm
gracious.
saying. Yeah. I'm very nice.
Course.
Yeah.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, electric car. So I was like, okay, cool. That's the end of that. But then 5 minutes later, he texted me again. And I want to read you exactly what he said.
Okay, go ahead.
He texted, you should call and text me more often.
What?
Look, now, I don't, I'm not homophobic.
No.
In fact, I consider myself to be an equal opportunist.
Is that so?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. Yes.
But I was a little creeped out. So I immediately deleted the WhatsApp and blocked him.
Yeah. Yes. That's the right course.
Is that the right course? So what do you think? He just made this whole story up to get my number?
Yeah, I think so. I think what's going on here is this man probably hides behind the bushes every day. Okay. Probably he's been hiding behind different bushes on the Stanford campus. Yeah, exactly. It's in reverse because Simpson, like Homer, actually goes
went
back
through. Yeah.
But my guess is this guy hides around a lot of bushes on the Stanford campus, and he probably rotates different times of the day, different parts of the campus. And he probably has different stories, In this case, it was a cell phone.
Yeah.
Maybe in another case, he has a laptop, and he's like, "Hey, can you send me a Facebook friend request?"
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you think I did the right thing by just blocking him? Because admittedly, it's very creepy.
Well, listen.
Even if I'm not being homophobic, it's creepy.
It's very creepy. But listen, as you've pointed out many times, that you're a very nice guy.
Very
so
nice.
everything you did was obviously correct.
Yeah.
You know.
Uh-huh.
Starting from the fact that you chose to ride your bike to work.
Yeah. Exactly.
You helped this man out. You replied to him.
Yeah.
You took precious time.
Also recycle. I compost. Yeah.
Yes, and you're driving an electric car. Let's not forget.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Only when I need to. Not all the time.
Only when you need to.
Yeah.
That's true.
I bike most days.
Yes.
So, okay. So I don't have to feel too bad about myself.
No.
But actually, you know what? Tirth's story doesn't end there.
No.
Now, fast forward many, many months to about a few weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
I get a text.
No.
From the same number.
This guy.
Yes. And it said, this is, again, many, many months later.
Yeah.
It says, are you free today? Let's go eat beef together afternoon.
What?
I don't know.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. Let's go eat beef together afternoon.
Wait. Important question. How many question marks are at the end of that question?
Just one, but there are two questions. Are you free today? And then let's go eat beef together afternoon. Now,
it's very forward.
So look, again, if he's coming on to me, I'm flattered, but I'm not interested.
Right.
But I don't want to turn down what could be a very, very promising friendship. Because look, I love beef. I love eating beef in the afternoon.
Yes.
Right? You know how much I love my afternoon beef.
You're a beef lover.
I am. So, I blocked him the first time, but maybe this is a legitimate friendship. So I'm stuck now. What do I do?
Well, you could see where this goes. You can say, sure, what kind of beef were you thinking? And then maybe send him a winky face.
Yeah, I could do that.
Wrong
the
move.
Winky face. Maybe with an eggplant. Are we having eggplant on the side? Is that what you're thinking? Yeah, no, maybe. I see where you're going with this, Tirth.
No,
that's
wrong.
I'm not going down that route.
I see. Hey, actually, I have a perfect response.
Yeah.
You want my opinion? You ready for it?
Yeah.
You should actually reply back and be like, hey, you want to do a podcast together? Because there's no better mark of a friendship.
No. Please.
Is that too much?
That's way too much. That's way too much.
I see.
How long have we known each other? Like 14 years, right?
15 years? Right, 2011. Yeah.
We don't start podcasts until you pass the 10-year mark. There are stages to friendships, and podcasting is
that right?
At the very
end. Right?
Yeah. Podcasting is at the very end.
Will you formalize this?
Of course. Yeah, level 1. Okay. Eat beef together in the afternoon.
Okay.
Level 2 is eat beef together in the morning, which is much more intimate, in my opinion. Level 3 is sharing a Sunday. Mm-hmm. Level 4, seeing a movie together. Just the two of you.
1 or 2 spoons?
No, please. 1, of course.
Yes.
Seeing a movie together, just the two of you. That's level 4.
We have done that.
Yeah, very intimate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Level 5 is helping your friend move.
Definitely done that.
So level 5. That's like a 3-year friendship, I think.
Okay.
And then at the 10-year mark is starting a podcast together. Yeah.
So that's level 6.
Yeah, level 6. Yeah.
So we're at level 6 right now.
We're at level 6. Yeah.
We've basically attained like nirvana.
Almost. Yeah.
Okay.
Almost.
Very
Podcasting
good.
is very sacred. Very sacred.
Okay. And I definitely treat it as such.
Mm-hmm.
Make no mistake.
All right. Well, I guess I'll let you know next week what I decide to text.
Please keep us updated.
Yeah,
yes,
I will.
Please keep us updated. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Tirth. Do you think we should do some science? Talk about some science?
I'm ready for it.
Before we get started, just I want to give the listeners a peek behind the curtain here.
Yes.
So Tirth and I, we don't prepare for this at all. Like not at all. We probably should have pre-show meetings.
We should.
But we don't. And the only thing we do is like a day or two before we record, we text each other the first author of the paper we're about to do, just to make sure we don't do the same paper.
Yeah. Sometimes even on the same day.
Yeah. Like today. We forgot to do that, and we didn't find out until like 2 minutes before we started recording.
That's right.
That we picked the same paper somehow. How does that happen? How did that happen?
Great minds think alike, man.
Yes, but also idiots think alike. Which is, I think, the conclusion we should draw. I think that's the null hypothesis here. So we both picked the same paper, but I think it's going to work out because I actually have a follow-up to this paper, which I can talk about. So, Tirth, you want to start us off?
Let's do it.
On this paper? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right. For the benefit of the listeners, this paper is titled An Analysis of the Forces Required to Drag Sheep Over Various Surfaces.
Very interesting.
This was published in the Journal of Applied Ergonomics.
Very good journal. Very good journal.
So here's the premise of this study, okay? They're basically saying that sheep are heavy. There's a lot of shearing of sheep going on for their wool, and there's a lot of occupational and safety hazards. So there's Applied Ergonomics. This is from the year 2002. It was published by a bunch of people in Australia.
Yep, Australia. Yep, sheep shearing makes sense. In Texas, we call Australia the land of the shorn sheep. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think Australians call Texas then?
The Australia of America.
That's so true, though.
It basically is. Yeah.
That's so perfect.
Yeah.
So they're at the University of Ballarat. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly.
Great university. Fantastic university.
I'll take your word for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll set up the motivation behind this study, okay?
Please.
So, as you've already pointed out, Australia is the land of shorn sheep.
Yep.
And the authors note, quite importantly, that there's some occupational health and safety hazards associated with sheep shearing.
Okay.
And then they detail various aspects of sheep shearing, which can cause occupational and safety hazards. And they talk about how people who work in the field in this industry, I guess they're called sheep shearers. Is that right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
They can suffer from low back pain. They get knee pain. They suffer other injuries and things of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
And, for the uninitiated, the authors actually very helpfully go on and explain the various steps involved in shearing sheep and how these can lead to different injuries.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you ready for this?
Ready for what?
Well, the authors list all the steps it takes to shear a sheep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, please.
Okay. So the first step, obviously, is to catch the sheep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're saying you have to catch the sheep, then you have to tip the sheep.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I don't know if they're tipping the sheep 15% or 20%, but they're tipping the sheep.
Oh yeah. Mm. Yep. Usually, well, in Texas, we usually tip the sheep after, but it's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have some experience. I want to hear more about this.
Oh, what? Okay. Yeah. Look, Tirth, Australia might have invented sheep shearing, but in Texas, we perfected it.
Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, should I hear your experience first before I list the steps they talk about?
Tirth, have you never partaken in sheep shearing?
Of course not.
What?
I admire sheep from a distance.
No. Okay. Well.
In fact, a lot of times I confuse them for clouds.
Let me blow your mind real quick. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes. In Texas, I went to high school in Texas.
I know. Yes.
My high school was largely agrarian. Just outside of Houston.
The famous farmlands of Houston.
No, you'd be surprised. Hey, Houstonians need food. Astronauts need food. So there was a huge barn on campus because we had a very big Future Farmers of America program, FFA.
Okay. Yeah.
Big fan of the program.
I see.
And in lieu of dissecting, your frog or whatever in biology class, we got to shear sheep.
No.
Yeah.
This can't be true.
No, please.
This is a story from the 2000s. We're not talking about the 1950s.
No. Please, what? Look, we still need wool. We need wool for a lot of things, okay? And this is good experience for high school students.
I see.
A group of us would tackle a sheep and then take out some razors and shear it for biology credit.
What?
Yeah, man.
How many people does it take to shear one sheep?
Well, I mean, there weren't that many sheep, and there were a lot of students. So, yeah, we grouped up, groups of 10 or so. Yeah. Surround a sheep. Tackle it down and shear it. Yeah.
Wait, so okay. What were your steps? Let me hear them before I list the author's steps.
It's the same steps. Okay?
It is?
Yeah, it's the same steps. It's catching the sheep, tipping the sheep, dragging the sheep, shearing the sheep, and then guiding the sheep away.
Wow.
Same 5 steps.
That's literally what they say here.
This is the international standard for sheep shearing, okay?
Is that right?
This is recognized by the International Standards and Units Committee. You know the place in France where
they measure the kilogram. Yeah,
where they have a vault. A vault.
Yeah.
With a kilogram inside, right? That's the standard kilogram.
Yes.
In Australia, they have an even bigger vault with 5 steps of sheep shearing inside. Yeah.
Wow.
It's guarded by Swiss guards.
Why? Wait a minute. Why are the Swiss guards in Australia?
It's been blessed by the Pope. This is a big deal, man.
Wow.
This is a big deal. Yeah, the 5 steps of sheep shearing. Yeah.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's delve into this more then, okay?
Go ahead.
So you've already helpfully listed the steps of sheep shearing. The authors also then go on and they cite a bunch of sources, and they say the most common injuries, as you may expect, would be fractures and sprains, contusions and burns. Not sure how that's happening, but that's okay. The most common body location was hand, finger, and thumb, and back.
Okay.
They're all roughly about the same frequency, like 19 and 22%. They're also saying that Australian shearers, for whatever reason, suffer injuries at 6 times the all-industry average.
That's interesting.
So I'm not sure if they're doing something different in Australia. Maybe it's harder. You know what I think it is? I think it's harder to shear sheep when you're upside down.
Yes. I think that's tough. Yeah, mate. But how good is that weather? How good is that weather down in Australia, huh, mate?
Very good. A+.
Yeah. Nah.
All right. So anyway, being the helpful ergonomists that they are, they said, you know what? Can we come up with the standardized method for sheep shearing? And can we try and quantify which surfaces are better, which methods are better?
So they've identified out of the 5 steps, one single step that's the most harmful, right?
Yes. Yeah. The dragging part.
Right. Which is bad for your back.
Yes. Yes.
So they wanted to make the dragging part easier.
Yeah. And they wanted to see what the minimum and the maximum force required to drag a sheep was, and if there was a difference with the type of surface they used. So first and foremost, one of the things I liked about this study is the very high number of trials and how systematic they were with this sort of setup.
They were.
So, as you know, they chose 8 men. And what they had these guys do is that they gave them 5 types of flooring material. So there's wood battens oriented parallel, wood battens oriented at right angles. So these are slats of wood.
Okay.
And then the same setup with plastic, so either parallel or perpendicular to the direction of the drag. And then lastly, they just had steel mesh.
Okay. So these are like 5 different types of flooring that they drag sheep across to try to reduce the amount of force required.
Yes, and then they're with each trial, with each person, they're measuring the drag force. So they're looking at the angle and all of that to calculate the drag. And then they use 5 sheep. So total, what it ended up being is that there were 8 shearers, 5 sheep, 5 surfaces, and they had each person do 50 trials each.
Okay.
For a total of 400 trials. Well, let's just pause for a second. This is a very high number of trials.
These people are very good scientists.
Yes.
Very good scientists.
Very impressed. What I found interesting is if you actually go along this, there's some figures of the sheep being dragged.
I've seen them. The sheep, you can see the face of the sheep and they look very content.
They look very happy. I mean, this one here looks
There's some very content sheep. They're living the life. Yes, it's like a slide. It's like they're on a slide. Yeah, it's great.
They basically made a sheep amusement park for them. I mean, can you imagine you're a sheep living on this farm and just out of the blue, they're like, okay, we're getting dragged.
We're just going to drag you. Yeah. PETA, if you have any problems out there, PETA, with the study, just know the sheeps are enjoying it. All right. This is for their enjoyment.
No sheep were harmed in this
Absolutely
study.
Not.
And then there's also a little cartoon diagram of a man trying to drag the sheep. It shows the ideal form, which actually looks very similar to what the ideal deadlifting form is. Now, I don't know if you ever deadlifted in your life, Lou, but I'm somewhat of a lifter myself.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
How much do you deadlift?
We don't need to get into numbers. I don't want to embarrass people out there, you know?
Okay, sure,
yeah.
sure.
This is all about positivity, okay?
I believe
it's not
you.
about competition. It's not about competition.
No,
okay?
of course not. No.
So anyway, let's delve into the results here, okay?
Okay. So just to recap, each of the 8 shearers dragged 5 sheep across 5 different types of flooring, 2 times each.
That's correct.
For a total of 50 trials per person,
That's
400
correct.
trials overall. Okay.
Yes.
Across 5 different flooring types. All right.
Correct.
Tell us the results.
Yes. Okay. So the results are, so they're comparing, so just remember, they're comparing the different surfaces, and they're trying to calculate which surface has the lowest drag, which surface has the highest drag. Well, what they found is that the lowest drag was on the wooden surface, parallel to the direction of the drag. Okay. And maybe not surprisingly, the highest drag was at the steel mesh.
Okay.
You can imagine maybe the steel is not as smooth, or, there's a lot of friction when you're dragging the sheep across it.
Yeah.
And then the other part that I really liked here is because they had very high number of trials, they were able to do pretty robust statistics.
Yeah. And so quick lesson on science here. I really like this study because there's a couple of things you want to watch out for when you're doing science. The first one is random error, which is just the random variations and like measurements of things, right? So you can measure like the dragging force required to drag a sheep multiple times. And it's going to differ every time just due to natural variations. And that's why, like, for instance, in basketball, like the same 2 teams can play several games, and the results will be different, right? It's sort of the same concept, which is why, like, in the NBA finals, you play 7 games.
7-game series, yeah.
Yeah, so the way to overcome random variation is to increase replication. Number of trials, and sample size, which they did. They did a very good job of. So I really like that. So that's random error. The other type of error is systematic error. Which is not random, but it's more, it's more systematic. It's more a consistent error. So this would be like if they had the sheep shearer drag the sheep across the 5 different types of flooring in the same order each time. So start with wood, and then end with metal, like every time. There could be a systematic error there in that, maybe they might be more excited to be dragging on the first type of flooring that they come across, right? Because it's the first time they're doing it. And then they run out of energy by the last time, and that could cause a systematic difference.
Which, by the way, they actually accounted for too. They actually mentioned that. They said they tried to vary the times of the day when they were dragging the sheep so they wouldn't get tired.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Once again, yeah.
And the way to combat systematic error is through randomization, right? Which is like you randomize which type of flooring they test first each time. Yeah. So they did that. Good, cool study.
Well, you said you have a follow-up to this, so let's hear it.
I do have a follow-up. So, like I said, I love this paper. And I wanted to see what papers might have cited this paper.
Makes sense.
What landmark studies this paper led to.
Yes.
So I was on PubMed.
Yeah.
And actually, there's only one paper on PubMed that cites this paper. One other paper that cites it.
That's very disappointing.
It is. And of course, I checked out this paper. This paper is titled, Who says you cannot get published? It is, yes. It is. It is written by one Dr. Paul McCrory, and it's published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine. Basically, this Dr. Paul McCrory, he just listed a bunch of funny papers that maybe should not have been published, but were.
In his opinion, this is just his opinion.
In his opinion, yeah. But I didn't read that paper too carefully because what was very eye-catching as soon as I opened this paper on the journal's website, the British Journal of Sports Medicine, is a red editorial note at the top of the paper, Who Says You Cannot Get Published? It's a red editorial note.
Okay.
It says, this article has a correction. Please see expression of concern about content of which Dr. Paul McCrory is a single author. So this led me down a rabbit hole. So I had to figure out who this Dr. McCrory is.
Wait, this means... Wait. So what does this mean? He plagiarized it?
So when I opened up the correction, it read, this paper is authored by Dr. Paul McCrory. During 2021 and 2022, there was an investigation by the British Journal of Sports Medicine, which found that some of his work was a product of publication misconduct.
Whoa.
Such misconduct includes plagiarism, duplicate publication, misquotation, and misrepresentation in publications in respect of which he was listed as the sole author.
Whoa.
Right, pretty damning serious stuff, right?
Oh my God!
On what seems like a very inconsequential paper. Who says he cannot get published?
I mean, it just looks like a blog post.
So I looked this guy up, Dr. Paul McCrory.
Yeah.
Turns out he is a neurologist.
My people.
He is your people, yes, exactly. He's also a sports physician, and he's considered a concussion expert.
Okay.
So he is, get this, he is also the editor-in-chief of the British Journal of Sports Medicine, where this paper was published. Who says he cannot get published?
I think that's meta on several levels.
And of which the editors, I'm guessing not him, placed a editorial note on. So anyways, so that editorial note, the correction, was placed on 80 different articles that were authored by this guy from the year 1999 all the way to 2007.
80.
80 in a span of 8 years, so about 10 a year or so.
Wow.
Let me just read you the titles of some of these.
Go ahead. Yes.
Some of these are, just as a reminder, these articles were all published by Dr. Paul McCrory, sole author, in the British Journal of Sports Medicine. They've all been flagged for misconduct. Okay. God. Okay, I'm just going to start listing the titles.
Go ahead.
The Eighth Wonder of the World, The Mythology of Concussion Management. Okay. Well, I mean, it's sports medicine. At some point, he's a concussion expert. You know. Next one. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Okay.
Anyone for tennis? That's a good one. All cracked up.
What?
What's in the name
mm-hmm.
of UFOs and other thoughts?
Okay.
That's one of my favorite. The Big Blue. Rage Against the Machine. So now here he starts an era in his life where he ended every article title with ...
Mm-hmm.
First one being Men Are From Mars ... Do not go gentle into that good night ... Last orders, gents ...
What?
The lean and slippered pantaloon ... Don't know what that one means. Far more important than life or death ... Bad hair day ...
Oh my God.
Always look on the bright side ... Okay, so that was his ... era. Blinded by the light. Pursuing the dream. Sounds like a movie. Oh, this one's the best. Listen carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Can woodpeckers play rugby? Or Charles Darwin, where are you when we need you? Let me read that again.
Go ahead.
Can woodpeckers play rugby? Or Charles Darwin, where are you when we need you?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What does that
What does
mean?
any of that mean? Why would woodpeckers play? Anyways, moving on. Yada, 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 or carpe somnum. Cease to sleep. I looked that up. Horses for courses. It's a good one. Smelling salts. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. Elementary, my dear Watson.
Okay.
Learning to love Big Brother. Breaking butterflies on a wheel. And then finally, is it all too much?
Oh, wow.
Very
poetic.
Yeah.
That's very poetic.
Just as a reminder, these are all published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, and they've been flagged for misconduct.
That's insane, man. But this thing basically reads like a MySpace page.
Exactly. Yes. This man, look, I don't want to make it seem like we're making fun of this guy, because this guy's my hero.
Yes.
He is
aspirational stuff.
He is the editor of the British Journal of Sports Medicine, and he's treating the journal like its own personal blog. This man is the ultimate recreational scientist, and we must have him on the pod.
Let's work on this.
Dr. Paul McCrory, if you're listening, please email us. Let's work something out. We can't pay you a lot of money, but we'll let you say whatever you want.
Yes. We'll both mute our own microphones and let you talk.
And also, I just want to say I don't know anything of his science. I think I read somewhere that he thinks concussions and traumatic brain injury are not related. Not sure about that.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, like the first title was The Myth of whatever, right? The Myth of Concussion.
So I don't know anything about his science, but I like his recreational science.
Indeed. He's the final boss of recreational science.
He is our hero. Anyways, I decided to open up one of these articles that he wrote. The one I picked is Yo Ho Ho and a Bottle of Rum. This was published on October 1st, 2006. So in this article, basically it's pretty short, but he introduces it by telling a story where he was watching Pirates of the Caribbean with his 9-year-old daughter when they realized that they don't know what the 7 C's they talk about in the movie refers to. So he writes, "This glaring lack of knowledge was right up there with my theory that the Chinese built the Great Wall to keep rabbits out of our backyards." Out of their backyards.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. So that's the introduction. So the methods, he started searching the internet for what the 7 C's refers to. He found that both the ancient Greeks and the Romans used the term the 7 C's, but very differently.
Okay.
He also mentioned that there's a 17th century scholar who had a completely different list of 7 C's.
Okay.
And also a 19th century scholar who mentions the 7 C's, but did not list the 7 C's.
Okay.
And then modern geographers, he said, sometimes count 7 oceans in the world. North Pacific Ocean, South Pacific Ocean, North Atlantic Ocean, South Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean, and the Arctic Ocean. And then in lieu of a discussion section, he ends the article with, "Any questions?"
I have one. What does this have to do with sports medicine?
Yeah. Good question, Tirth. Good question.
I think we need to have him on. I need to ask him.
We must have him on. He is amazing. This man's amazing.
I want to ask him about the woodpecker article. What's going on with that one?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. Good science today. Now,
Great.
Tirth.
Yes.
I want to do a new segment of the show.
Oh, okay.
Before we end.
All right.
It's called Let's Read Some Mail.
We have mail?
We do. We have fan mail.
Wow.
This particular mail that I'm going to read to you is from our fan, Rohit Dummy. I've slightly altered his name to protect his anonymity.
I noticed.
So Rohit Dummy says he'll pay us $5 a word for you to read this piece of literature he wrote.
Okay.
So I'm gonna email this to you.
Okay. Right now.
I send it to your Gmail. Remember,
$5 a word. That's good money, man.
$5 a word. So please just read it. Read it out loud. Don't read it to yourself.
Okay. All right. Here we go. This is just a no-look read. Okay, I'm reading this for the first time.
Please.
People are listening. Okay. This episode is brought to you by Tirth, proud fantasy football bottom dweller and honorary member of the Gym Voyeurs Club. Trademark. You might think Tirth works out. After all, he goes to the gym regularly. ... But plot twist. He never actually makes it inside. Every week, he stands just outside the glass, silently judging the equipment like it personally wronged him. Dumbbells? Too aggressive. Treadmill? Clearly up to something. Squat rack? Not today, Satan. So whether it's losing fantasy football with style or ghosting gym gains with confidence, Tirth continues to blaze a trail no one asked for, but we're all weirdly invested in.
Interesting. That was actually a really good read, code read. Good job, Tirth.
Thank you.
That was a lot of words.
I will do a lot for money, so this is a lot of money right here.
I want to extend this offer to anybody out there who wants to write in. Yes. $5 a word, Tirth will read whatever.
Yes.
Literally anything.
Yes, and with the same zeal, zest, and pizzazz that I just used.
He'll read a code.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, yeah, listeners, if you want to write in, you can email us at rexipod@gmail.com or just DM us on social media or comment on any of our posts, comment on the episode. Plenty of ways to reach us. $5 a word, Tirth will say anything.
Slide into our DMs.
All right, well, that's the end of this episode of Recreational Science. Tirth, what'd you learn today?
I learned today that you can publish just about anything in a peer-reviewed journal as long as you're the editor of the said journal.
Yeah.
I'd always assumed and suspected this was the case, but it's nice to have it confirmed.
It's nice to have a goal.
Yes.
It's nice to have a career goal. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. What did you learn today?
I learned that sheep shearing is bad for your back. I might take that out. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for listening. We will catch you next time.
See you later, guys. And remember, if you like our podcast, please review us and tell a friend.
Yeah, that would really help us out a lot.
Indeed.
All right. Bye-bye. Recreational Science is produced by Scientific. Have questions, comments, or suggestions? You can email us at recscipod@gmail.com. That's RECSCIPOD. Or you can find us on Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube at RecSciPod. Our theme music is by the musician Dasein. You can find links to his work and all the papers we discussed in the episode description.